right, I'm Zanzi. Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. And if you're looking for something to do early December, listen up, we've got you. This December, Cape Town becomes a hub of creativity and innovation as Playtopia Festival returns for the 2024 edition. Oh yes, get excited for it because this one-of-a-kind indie games and immersive arts festival brings together creators, players and visionaries from across Africa and the world to celebrate imagination and connection. So today we brought in a stellar panel. We're joined by Dominic Glalowski, the festival director. We've got Ben Rausch, the gaming developer from Team Laserbeam, and then the trailblazing artist and speaker, Dope St. Jude in the building. Yes, please, Mzansi, put your hands together for a stellar crew. Guys, how are we doing this morning, firstly? Are we good?
Super good.
Are we excited?
Yeah.
Dominic, maybe I can hit it straight to you. Obviously, the festival director. This must be something. This is like your baby, I'm sure.
Yes,
Since 2018, that was when the first festival took place.
Yeah.
What's the impact of this festival been like in terms of the indie game festival, its scene, its community? What have you seen change since then?
Sure. I think it's been pretty significant, sometimes more than I've given it credit for, because I think when we started, I remember like it was quite small and it was quite difficult to explain to people what this is, and we would have maybe 15 sign-ups for volunteers and for people to participate in Super Friendship Arcade and all those things. Now we had to close the applications for volunteers because we had over 100 applications.
Oh, wow, that's a great problem.
And Ben had to also limit people signing up for the SFA jams, whereas before we were begging people to come. Now, it's helped to actually centralize this sort of previously fragmented passion that people had, and that was quite isolated to themselves, in their bedrooms behind their desktops. And now that there's this event that brings it all together, the community is now building, And
let's speak about it because, maybe there are still some people, I think, living under a rock that have no idea how cool of an event this is and what's actually happening. So what is the festival all about? What's happening during these 2 days? It's 2 days, right? 6th and 7th December.
Yes, yeah. So I guess it's such a big event. It's hard to explain simply, but I guess the best way is we have two arcades, a main arcade and then the Indie Planet Arcade, which is the best in shows of international gaming festivals like ourselves. But, so we've got Bit Summit from Japan, we've got Free Play from Australia, Amaze from Berlin, and Now Play This from UK. And then Ben, who has spent months curating the main arcade, which is about probably about 60 plus titles, indie titles from around the world and Africa. So this is the thing, this is the only festival that pretty much includes African games in its repertoire. But these are the creme de la creme indie gems from around the world, and then we have two art installation rooms because we wanted to include the tech art community. We feel they're very similar in nature, to the game developers. So we've also got two art rooms just filled with immersive and interactive art pieces that people can play with. I think we've got 12 this year, 12 installations. And then there's the summit. Now the summit's for the super nerds, that are actually wanting to make games. So, and where we have speakers from all around the world, that come in and they teach about the art of game development. So if you've got if you want to learn more about how to animate your video game, if you want to learn how to write a better story for your game. Games are hard. It's it's like making an animated film, but whilst incorporating the human interactive experience into that. So there's so many layers that go into it. And so these speakers come here and they're who are veterans in the industry teaching local developers the nuances of game development.
Wow.
So, and then concurrently to the summit, the arcades are running, the installation's running, and then we have after parties and side networking events and all of that. So it's just like a gathering of gaming dorks, and we've got decor, we've got some really a great decor team this year. So we want people when they arrive at this event they feel like they've arrived into another world.
Yeah.
You know? It's not just some computers set up in a conference room. It's like really like a lot of thought has gone into it, and it's big. Yeah.
It is big because you got someone like Dope St. Jude as one of your speakers bringing this thing to life. So, Jude, how's it going on your side with regards to getting involved in something like this? Obviously, you're an artiste.
Yeah.
You create incredible music. You've got the fashion box ticked. But gaming, or are you taking this over as well? What's the deal here?
Really, so I'm speaking as someone, from the perspective of someone who got into gaming with no formal training. I just am someone who was plucked from obscurity by Ben over here, who encouraged me to try my storytelling in a different medium. So I tell stories in my music, and like, why not try this in a different medium? And so initially I thought I was gonna write for the game and write for these characters, because I write for 2 characters in the game Wrestling with Emotions 2. I thought I was gonna write on a Word document, like write the storyline there, and they basically taught me how to essentially go into the back side of the game and kind of code the storyline into the game. So it was initially very intimidating for me, but the gaming community in Cape Town is so encouraging. Like, they just really want you to get involved, and so they taught me, and after a while I was like coding the game and writing the story and being like, if you choose this thing, it leads to this thing, and it was really cool to learn. So I'm really there to encourage people who have an interest in gaming and want to learn about it to get involved in some way, because it is possible. You just need imagination and the will to learn.
Absolutely loving this, man. And I want to learn some more, Ben, if I can, seeing if you have the brains behind many of these incredible designs. You're from Team Laserbeam, right? And you've built this reputation for, I think it's like quirky, heartfelt indie games. How do you feel how do you feel impacting the scene throughout the years, right? And more importantly, talk to me about this Shroom and Gloom viral success of one of these big games that you put together, man.
Yeah, so we've been making games together as Team Laserbeam for 10 years now. Started in 2014. And just made like really small little games, but just kind of consistently kept putting them out there, and found like a very like niche but cult following of people that were like, oh, they're really into like what we're doing. And our games, like you say, are quite quirky. They're very handcrafted. And quite like unconventional. They're not like your big, games about going up and blowing stuff up and shooting people. It's like games about being an ice cream cone and going on a date or something like that. So they're weird, but the people that like them really like them. And it's been cool. It has been super interesting to see over time the kind of influence that we've had in a small way within the local scene and internationally, that kind of people end up referencing our games, and we've kind of inspired newer, developers and stuff. But yeah, our latest game, Shroom and Gloom, is kind of like completely blown up and gone like totally viral, to the point where it's like the second most popular post ever on like our indie games on Reddit. Millions of views across like multiple platforms. So suddenly we're kind of like thrust into the space of being like, oh, okay, we're like a serious studio now. We're making a game that a lot of people care about. It's a cool feeling.
No more imposter syndrome. Ben, I think you just need to do this on your shoulder, bro.
Yes.
It's just that's the impact you have. Guys, I've got to say thank you so much for coming through, getting us hyped and excited for this event. And I think for you, Mzansi, that's every reason you need to get involved in Playtopia Festival 2024, which promises to be an absolutely unforgettable celebration of creativity, collaboration, and connection, to say the least. So our viewers, don't miss the chance to experience the magic of Playtopia. It's taking place this December, the 6th and the 7th, and it's at the Homecoming Centre in Cape Town, and your tickets can be found at Quicket, as well as playtopiafestival.co.za. What are you waiting for? Get involved.